snap cookies. The way I made them yesterday, so they're not quite as snappy as they would be if I had just made them today, because they require baking 3 times. So the first step is to mix all the dry ingredients into a bowl. I mix all the wet ingredients into another bowl, and then I put a topping in a third bowl. So I mix three things separately in order to make this recipe and to make it easy. So the first thing I do is a cup of brown rice flour, and then I'm making the dry bowl first. Then half a cup of gluten-free flour. This is gluten-free, it's vegan, and there's no oil. And you won't be able to tell the difference between something you bought in the store when I'm done. So, half a cup of this. And a quarter cup potato starch. And then 3/4 cup of date sugar. I'm using date sugar rather than regular sugar. You could grind dates, you could do that also. It'd still be about the same amount, about 3/4 cup. But this way is easy, and this is Bob's Red Mill. Everything I bought at Natural Grocers. And then a teaspoon of cinnamon. And on these kind of recipes, I always, when there's spices involved, I always do more than the recipe recommends. And then a nutmeg, and I'm going to use a 1/4 teaspoon of that. This is a half teaspoon, but I am going to use just a 1/4 teaspoon of that. So half is half a teaspoon. And then cloves. I ground these cloves already in a coffee grinder, and so I'm going to use a 1/4 teaspoon of those as well. And then half a teaspoon to 3/4 of a teaspoon of baking soda.
Did you get your ginger in there?
And then the ginger is, yes, the most important ingredient. 1 teaspoon of ginger. So there we go with that. Ginger's in all 3 steps. So that's my dry ingredients right there. The next thing is my wet ingredients. It calls for a 1/4 cup of raw almond butter, and don't use the crunchy, use the creamy. And so I'm going to use a 1/4 cup of that. And 2 of these is a 1/4 cup. Then this is where the fat comes from. This is ground flaxseed. Again, I did this in a coffee grinder. I sprinkle this on my salad every morning with breakfast. I have it throughout the day. This is pure omega-3s pretty much. It's very, very good for you. I keep it in the freezer. I grind it first, keep it in the freezer rather than grind it every day. If you leave it out in the air for too long and you're using it for the omega-3s, the oxygen will react off the omega-3 and it won't be as effective. So this is very, very good for your omega-3s. And for me, it's my only source.
Is that the
I use the brown. You know, you can use the brown and the gold, and there's no difference in nutrition. Not particularly. Usually, the darker, it's more nutritious. In that case, no difference. Quarter cup of water. Not a quarter cup, a half a cup of water. And ginger again. And
Do you put more ginger in than the recipe calls for?
I did.
Okay.
I did. And let's see, water, brown ginger, flax, whatever. That's it. That's my wet ingredients. The top is going to be this. So I bought this at Natural Grocers for I think $14. So here we go with this ingredient, the maple syrup. It's important. I know that you can get a big jug at Costco for $14.95. I'm not sure how much water is in that. It's not the same as this. This is flavorful. Then I'm going to use half a tablespoon of date sugar again for the topping, and then I'm going to put in more ginger, of course. Probably a half a teaspoon of ginger is what I'm going to do.
You're on your third bowl now?
Yep, this is the last thing. This is just the topping. Ginger in that as well. So now I've got all the ingredients, I've got the topping. I'm going to stir the topping around a little bit just to get it ready because it's going to go on top. Tonight, I'm going to prepare it by trying to cook it all at once to try and make it crispy. So I'm just going to, because we want to serve and eat it. But this is something where you bake 3 times and put it in the oven for the first 10 minutes, take it out, then you let it completely cool down, put on the topping, put in for another 25, well, don't put on the topping, put it in for another 25 minutes, turn them over first, take them out again, put the topping on, put it in for 5 more minutes. That's how you get them crispy. So kind of a pain, but not really.
That's what holidays are all about, special things.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're not, yeah, this is the holidays, it's supposed to be a little bit of an effort, a little bit of pain. So, I'm glad somebody connected that for me. On the dry ingredients, I'm going to put it in my new Cuisinart blender, and I'm going to pulse it for just a few seconds before I put in the other ingredient. Before I put in the wet ingredients. Just like that. Get them mixed around. The wet ingredients, it doesn't really work to try and pour it in the hole as you're trying to. That's not going to work. At least not with this type of food processor. So I'm just going to put it all in together. And it works. Let's see. I never bake when I cook. I've been cooking vegan for many, many years. I do not bake, so it is not something people like me who have patience issues. It's an exercise for me. It's a mental exercise.
Yeah.
I like this little.
I never waste a drop of food. I have a spatula everywhere.
Okay, so this kind of.
What's your favorite beans kind of? What do you usually
I like sauteing and making gravies and things like that. And some more, maybe I'd say French cuisine, that kind of thing. But I like. Lately I've been making pizza at home, made my own homemade pizza, veggie burgers, portobello mushroom burgers, traditional American foods when I'm really, just don't have a lot of time. Anything can be made vegan. And I've discovered a great recipe for veggie burgers. That it's pretty easy. Yep, I will share it. It's, I use black beans. Okay, so for just a little bit. This Cuisinart has a dough button on it, so this is what's amazing. It's going to just stop and be one pump in there in just a couple seconds, a couple minutes, and then I put it on the cookie sheet. Just with 1 inch, it's going to be maybe an inch and a half wide, and no more than a ½ inch thick. So what's going to be tried tonight is I did it 3 ways. The first time I did it too thick, they didn't turn out. The next batch I did, they were about 3/4 of an inch. They don't get crispy enough. The last batch I did, they were perfect. There we go. What's going to happen?
All right, there it goes.
And it looks, there you go. Cookie dough. I'm going to just take it out of here, and I'm going to roll it into little balls and put it on the cookie sheet, and then bake it. And I probably need help making it into balls. I don't know if I'm going to. They take a while to make. Let's see.
Do you have enough cookies that you might not want to have to cook?
There might be enough. Yeah, there might be enough cookies. They're so good fresh out of the oven. So we can spend the time. I mean, we can spend the time doing them, but I mean,
Sure,
it's
why
not
don't
that.
I do my cake while you and the crew put little balls on them?
We'll put little balls on the tray. Yeah.
Until the other
Okay.
family.
Okay. All right. Do you guys have any questions about anything?
Did you eat the cookie dough? You could eat this cookie dough.
Yes, you could. You could eat the cookie dough.
Very good, Laurie.
All right. You got it? All right. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.